Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Hopefully, you've all had a magnificent Monday. I know the cryptocurrency market is certainly enjoying Monday, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. You have certain altcoins out there that are ripping, to say the least. And the overall market is doing rather well. Now, really, since the start of the year, we've been looking at the possibility of upside. And we've came out to quite a few people's distaste and said that we're actually not that bearish here. Does not mean that we're bullish. And this was before the pump, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of people on Twitter and YouTube that have been claiming the bottom has been in since 69K, now claiming victory, having been traumatized and brutalized by this bear market, which is laughable. I am not calling for a bottom here. I'm just saying that I'm not as bearish as I have been previously. That doesn't mean that we're bullish. It just means that we're going to see and we're going to stay pretty neutral in regards to, what's happening. And if anybody wants to find out whether I'm buying here, whether I'm not buying here, what I'm doing, what I'm maybe looking to buy or not buy, feel free to join my Patreon. They get it first because it's a paid thing. And then, of course, I will... and maybe we've already positioned for this. Maybe that's a possibility. Who knows? But what I don't want to do is come on here and particularly brag, even though we've called it. And every time we get this kind of a reaction in the market, it makes me nervous. Because, yeah, okay, we've been looking for upside. In fact, we've even perfectly told you how it was going to play out on a daily time frame. An hourly time frame, looking at each day. This is something that we had drawn ages ago, and I actually have an entire thread, and I will get back to my daily TA Bitcoins on Bitcoin, because we've been killing it, ladies and gentlemen. We've called it perfectly. So we did look for that 17,200 target. That's been hit. The question is, do you now continue higher? My probable case is yes, because the Asian markets have led things. The UK market woke up and got that feeling, that Friday night feeling, even though it's a Monday morning in the markets. And now you got the US markets that are going to be waking up and likely are going to, the rally's likely to continue. You're going to get a pullback from this. Is this the generational bottom for the cryptocurrency market? Who knows? Anybody that's telling you it is, they don't have any confirmation of that until it actually has played out. And I just, again, want to really warn people that the same people saying, I told you so, are the same people that have been buying the entire way down and calling the dip every time down. Eventually, they're going to be right. Does it have to be this time? No. But you need to keep your head in this kind of a market. We've spoken right at the start of the year. We spoke about the January effect. People sell in December for tax loss harvesting, and they will essentially buy back in January. It means they can claim whatever losses they've had and write against their taxes, and then they can buy, and it actually works out. So there's going to be that January effect taking place. You're going to get FOMO because of how far down we are. And before this rally, remember, guys, we were talking about how everyone's in stablecoins, and that makes me a little bit nervous, and how there's a record amount of cash in terms of bank accounts. There's also a record amount of credit, but that's another story. Because of how far down we are, certainly on some altcoins, people are going to take this and run with it. They're going to kind of be trying to second guess when the bottom is actually in. Is it in here? Who knows? You can't really confirm anything until, for you to say that this was the bottom for the crypto market and we've gone on to a new bull market, you'll need to go and take out your 69K high. Who's telling you that? We're not. We're humble enough to understand that this is an ever-changing environment and we need to assess it accordingly. We got last year pretty damn spot on. We saved people a lot of money. This year, we're hoping to do the same thing. And I think it's too early to call bottoms. I think you've got structure here, which is why we actually said you were going to have a rally, and we called this, which was this sort of double bottom. You got this nice, beautiful, rounded butt cheek, rounded right butt cheek. I can see a rally taking place, and you will notice as well, actually, putting it on a log scale, that the drops have become less so. There's a low volatility here, which potentially can cause, prices to move to the upside. There is also something, and this is a common occurrence on altcoins, but I don't want to discuss altcoins in this video because I'm discussing them with my Patreons. you've got this bullish divergence. You'll notice this bullish divergence everywhere, guys. It's in all your altcoins. Altcoins are somewhat resetting in terms of the RSI. This you need to take seriously, and this is likely going to see upside. The real test for me is what happens when you run into this MA. You know, what happens when you get to the 18K levels if you do get there? It looks likely. You know, do we get another sell-off? Is there another traumatizing event waiting in the wings? And are the bottom callers going to be wrong again? I'm not saying that this isn't a bottom. I'm just not saying that it is. You know, I don't know whether this is the bottom or not. I'm just looking at things and saying, okay. And before this rally, remember, we said we're a hell of a lot less bearish here than we have been previously. So take for that what you will. I'm not trying to encrypt or you know, decipher it. But divergences certainly on the RSI. It shows that something's taking place. Last divergence you had was, of course, May onto your 69K high. You need to take these seriously. And actually, you did have a divergence here. So I think that a couple of things that we've not spoke about that we should, right? Whilst everyone's getting really bullish and loving life, and remember, guys, markets rally, and we've kept you largely away from the markets in terms of not FOMOing back in at every single point down thus far. Not saying don't get back in here. I'm just saying I don't think this is the bottom necessarily. But then again, maybe it is. You know, I'm just saying I don't know until proven. But what we have said is we've said that we don't like the fact everyone's in stable coins. Remember, we looked at your USDT dominance. We said that's not a good sign. Maybe you break this trend line. Who else is talking about this sort of stuff, by the way, guys? I don't see them. Maybe tag them in the comment sections and let me know who is, because I don't think that they're really out of here. You also have a div here, which is potentially showing that people are getting back into the markets in terms of getting out of stable coins and getting into cryptos. And certainly this rally is going to fuel that. I will let people know if I have or haven't bought, but it will have to come later on. Obviously, like I say, I've got a Patreon and they're first come, first serve. But there are a number of reasons to suggest that there may be a rally for an extended period of time. My base case, remember, you've still not had the yield curve play out. We've spoken about the yield curve. The dollar's getting absolutely smashed right now. So this hasn't played out. This has been an accurate predictor of markets, of crashes. It's sort of foretells crashes. The last one was 2020, which was the lockdowns, 2008, dot-com boom and bust subsequently, and the crash of 89. So this still hasn't played out. So I do still think there's a crash waiting in the wings. We're having a very weak dollar. This is sort of how I think the dollar plays out, but it's putting on... The problem is what happens when the dollar reasserts? Could push markets lower pretty rapidly. What happens if, you know, we've got DCG, which is linked with Grayscale and all this. So what happens if there's issues there? You can't be calling a bottom. One swallow does not a summer make. Okay? Yeah, it's a nice move. A move that we literally drew and set out for you. Please go and check that thread on Twitter. We've followed it since really the 2nd of January and pretty much called the market very accurately. But yeah, there's that upside. There's quite a bit of inefficiency here that you could fill. And this looks like a double bottom to me. So I do see upside coming, but just remember that we're not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. I think markets have been fueled. Asia-Pacific markets rise as China reopens borders with Hong Kong. So there's reopening going on. It looks like it's very likely that the worst in terms of rate hiking is behind us. You know, we have rates, and I did a meeting with my patrons yesterday where we get into that in great detail. Which means that there's probably not the same sort of downside that we've seen thus far. But are you really going to say that there's not any more downside to come? Are you going to call this a bottom? You're just really hoping that you're right. And, you know, I'd rather work with what I've got rather than what I think. So it's interesting. It's nice to see the cryptocurrency market rallying. But the real question for me is, does it last? Does it get sustained? Is that buying power there? Is there another traumatizing event around the corner? And then actually, and I'm not going to give you all the answers, how do you hedge not knowing what the market's going to do? or not being sure if you think this is a bottom or not. I have the answers, or I think I have the answers into how to hedge for this. But that's something I'll share with you guys later on. And of course, my Patreons are all already on that sort of road. So I think potentially you're looking at another, this was what happened with the markets. You put in lower lows, you put in higher lows on the RSI. This was your bullish divergence, obviously not on the daily, but on the weekly. And then you walk straight into March 2020, which was a traumatizing event. I think a similar thing is likely going to take place here. Maybe the market rallies up here, and then we get that crash. And how are you going to deal with that? Are you going to hopefully try and swing trade it? Do you think you're going to be able to do that? What's likely to take place? So where we sit right now is we think that FOMO is really going to kick in. The January effect's something that we spoke about. We said watch out for it. People are going to be buying back. You've got good news hitting. You've got people sort of going, okay, well, with this far down, some altcoins are 90% down. Maybe people are looking at this and going, how much further can they go? They can go 99% down from wherever they are, by the way, guys. They can go 100% down from wherever they are. Let's maybe put money back in. So I think that this rally is going to be sustained for a while. The question is does it last, and is this the bottom? And my answer to that is I'm not sure. I have taken action one way or the other, but I won't share what that is just yet. I will do in the future. But just don't be so quick to call this a bottom just yet. Okay? Because markets lean towards pain. The markets really up until today were very, very bearish. Every single YouTuber, or most of them, calling for crashes, calling for downside. And they literally flipped only after the FTX crash. So only here they've been bearish. You're late to the damn party. Go and check my Twitter. We called this out, this kind of being late as a bear. We might not be a bull, but we're not a grizzly bear here. We've been a grizzly bear pretty much the whole of last year. Right now, we're kind of market neutral in terms of waiting to see which direction it takes. And often with the turn of the new year, markets can take a new direction. So this was just a technical one. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. We'll see what happens. We've got the US stock market to open, which is up today. FTSE's down. Dollar's getting killed off. So we'll see what takes place. But yeah, we'll catch you in the next YouTube video. This was just a sort of short and sweet update on the cryptocurrency market. It does look like this rally is going to be sustained for a period. How long exactly is anybody's guess, but we will keep you up to date on a daily basis. And go and check out that thread where we've been calling out the daily. This was our target all along. We literally predict, look how accurate this is, guys. Take the MA off and the draw that we had put on. You don't get TA like this anywhere else on the short term, long term, mid term, or any kind of term. All I've got for you guys. Enjoy your Mondays. See you all in the next YouTube video.